Welcome back to the Wine and Dime Pod, the podcast where we drink wine and talk hoops. I'm Chris and that's Lyndsay. We just cracked open a bottle of 2023 Nero from Sicily. First Sicilian wine, I think, for both of us. It's something. I gotta say, as a twist top evangelist, I am happy that opening it was convenient. At least it is it's a little on the bitter side, I would say. You know, a little acidic, a little bit.
Yeah, it's not actually my first Sicilian wine. I've actually had wine from this particular winery before, Cusumano from Sicily. So when I was in Sicily a couple years ago for my friend's wedding, he had this winery on the table for his wedding. So I've had their wine before. I don't think I've had this one though specifically. I've never had a Nero that I know of. Yeah, Sicilian wine is definitely a little less refined than many of the other wine regions in Italy, and you can tell. It's a little punchy. It's good, but yeah, very intense. Definitely pretty high on the acid, and the tannin's not bad, but there's a lot of acid. My mouth's watering drinking this wine. Not gonna lie. Yeah, we drinking Italian wine because do you know where I am? That feisty Italian keeps rolling, and the LCBO just made it hard for us to get wine from the region of the country he's from, so we just rolled with Sicily.
Yeah, we were trying to do a little GMO tribute. That didn't quite work out the way we wanted. We still got something from, you know, southern Italy, the deep south in this case, all the way down in Sicily. You know, we're feeling celebratory. March Madness is in full swing. WNBA is back.
I feel like there's a large number of Italian Americans in Connecticut, so close enough.
There certainly are.
Yeah.
There certainly are. The whole New England area, I promise you. Not hard to find.
Yeah. A lot of Sicilians probably there, so I'm sure that this works spiritually. But the tournament's been pretty crazy.
Oh, Connecticut. Speaking of Connecticut,
yeah,
they leaving.
And
the Sun will be leaving Connecticut. They'll be going to Houston. H-Town is back.
Not
Maybe
right
not
away.
the way we always wanted, but next season, 2027, Houston Comets back.
Right. It's a weird thing. I don't know. I know a lot of people have talked about. I think largely the discourse has been that yes, it's not quite the way we wanted, but we're happy they're back. Celebratory, but it's bittersweet. Rika Foster-Brasby and Cheryl Swoops, their podcast, they had Jen Rosati from The Sun on their podcast, and she gave a really great interview about it. Just, the excitement, because she played for the Houston Comets back in the day with Cheryl Swoops, so she's, excited, gets to go back to Houston, that's awesome, but also at the same time, it's sad because we can't forget how much Connecticut ultimately did for the league by taking over the team. The Mohican tribe chose to purchase the team when people were actively trying to not purchase teams. It's not been lost on anybody that it seems like the league is ditching independent ownership for NBA-owned franchises, or NBA-adjacent franchises, I guess, because Toronto's not owned by the Raptors, and I don't know that the Fire ownership has any connection to the Portland Trail Blazers, but regardless, they're kind of ditching smaller markets for NBA cities, which I think in some cases can be okay, but the way that they did that in this case really sucked. That's the optics of that really aren't lost on anybody, and it looks like Connecticut also got screwed in terms of the money. They also lost money in the deal a little bit.
They could have got more to go to Boston. Hartford was also an option to keep the team in Connecticut and not being as small of a town.
Yeah.
Both of those guys. The NBA was not happy about that shit, and they are going to one of the biggest metros in the entire country.
It was interesting because Jen, said, she of course was being diplomatic about it. She doesn't work for the team, so she's not gonna, accuse the WNBA of colluding to fuck over the Mohican tribe and whatever. The way she, described it was basically the reason the Mohican tribe decided to sell was they were just deciding they kind of just coming to a point where they were seeing a lot of investment in the league, and they were deciding their paths forward for investment and what that meant, because they were one of the first teams to have facilities and things like that for their players. But then of course they became a bit outdated, and more than a bit, but they became outdated, and again, small town too, so I feel like they were looking at paths forward and decided that now is the time to cash out, and that was smart, and I think that they did want to keep the team in Connecticut, because like you said, Hartford was an option, but I think that Boston was kind of the perfect option that the league would want, because it was at least in the New England area. It's they had a history of going to Boston, that fan base could travel there because it's relatively close.
It's within 2 hours.
Right, they'd sold out the stadium in Boston, the 2 games they played there. So, at least you would have had that continuity, and I don't think the fan base would have been too pissed about it. Like,
No.
would have sucked. It would have made the game a little less accessible, but at the same time, like, that's also you get to see the fandom that you put the years in actually turn into something bigger versus this, where it's like, you get to see the fruits of your labor, but at the same time, it's not going to be, like, accessible to you anymore. And
they're going to feel like Sonics fans, you know what I mean? Watching them ball out with a completely different name over in Houston, which is tough because, like, the Boston thing wouldn't have felt so weird because that's kind of how sports have always worked in that region. Whatever the big team is, whatever the biggest league is, you put the team in Boston and they represent the whole 6-state region.
100%.
And in this case, you know, Connecticut could have had its own thing for the first time since the Whalers, really, in a major city like Hartford.
Yeah.
Going to H-Town.
And I even just feel like, I really can't, as much as I don't want nice things for Boston ever, I do at least respect that it was going to be, like, adjacent to, you know, like, close enough, right? And yeah, I mean, Hartford would have been cool too, but it just sucks. I feel really bad for the fans, but she also did talk in this interview quite heavily about how they're going to go out with a bang, like, this year will be all about celebrating the Sun and, like, what they did for the league and just, like, the fans and former players, and she also made it really clear that, like, alum and former players will be part of the new team in Houston and things like that. So that was exciting. I think that they have good leadership. Like, the team itself has good leadership that will travel with it to Houston, and that's really good because Tillman Fertitta is definitely a volatile owner.
Yeah, we can say that. We can say that.
I think so. You could say that. So it helps that they already have. Sorry? Yeah.
He's not going to sue us. We're fine.
Oh, you know, whatever. He can have the $5 in my bank account. If he really wants it. It's like $3.50 Americans.
You can't have my $5. I need it.
Yeah. He's gonna sue me all he wants. It's like drawn blood from a stone. There's not much coming. So, but yeah, I feel confident that they have the right team. But it's like weird news. I'm happy with the comments, but I'm also sad. I just don't see why we couldn't have had both.
It really does feel like there was an opportunity to expand into Houston and bring the comments back that way. I was a little surprised that they went the route they did, expansion-wise, and that Houston was lower on the list than I think anybody expected, but I think the league thought that forcing the Sun to Houston was their way to get that without having to take their expansion bid all that seriously. So it's a little disappointing, but you know.
Yeah, there's a lot of like conspiracy theories, I think, around this now. So I've seen a lot of discourse on Twitter about when the league was very purposeful about announcing its next expansion candidates. They were purposeful about choosing NBA cities, the Sixers and Philadelphia, the Cleveland and Detroit. But they purposely left Houston off the list, and like you said, I think, like they probably didn't really want to deal with that expansion. But at the same time, there's a conspiracy theory going around a little bit that they kind of already had a handshake deal with Tillman Fertitta that they were going to get him a team.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's shitty. Like that it's just shady, and I don't really understand, because it's like, do you hate Houston but this feels like you're favoring Houston. So I don't really understand how that even lines up with the general attitude towards the Comets that the league has had for the last forever. It's weird. It's all very
It also
weird.
just feels weird there's no team in the greater New England area now. Like, it's not like those people are going to become Liberty fans. You know what I mean?
No.
Like, that's not going to happen.
Because there's nothing really. I guess Washington maybe, but no, that's too far south.
Yeah, there's a big gap there. Philly's going to be like the closest in a couple of years, I guess.
Can Toronto swoop in and steal some of those fans? They're not even that close, but it's like kind of
a 9-hour drive, man. Like,
I know. It's not even close. But there's nothing in the Northeast, like, at all.
No.
Really, aside from the Liberty.
Go watch UConn, I guess.
Yeah.
38. No, it's worth the trip, even if you got to go all the way out to that little town in Stores.
So I've seen a lot about the league just essentially coming full circle on itself, about starting entirely in NBA cities, moving to more independent ownership, and then coming back to NBA sort of adjacent ownership. And it's like, I really hope the league doesn't make the same mistakes it made the original time. I do think obviously the fan support is so much different now, but I think there's a place for independent ownership, and I'm worried about that with the league a little bit, where it's like they might be jumping into bed with people a little too fast who maybe aren't actually as invested in the game as we hope. Like, they're willing to spend the money, but again, if things get tough, then it's kind of like before, where it's like all exciting and it feels like like a fresh start for the WNBA. It's almost like we're starting over. I don't know. This just feels shitty, and it feels kind of, well, actually, the government of Connecticut is actually investigating legal action, so this could actually get tied up too. The Attorney General of Connecticut said that he's investigating legal action because there was a deal to keep the team in the area that would have been worth more money, because the Boston deal would have been worth $25 million more, which is not like an insignificant amount of money. And so as much as the Connecticut Sun can say that, or the Mohican Sun, or anybody can say that the WNBA, had their best interest in getting them their $300 million, because they did obviously made a shitload of money compared to how much they spent to get the team. They still also got shorted, and I feel like it's the Connecticut Attorney General said he was investigating it.
It also feels like they left a little meat on the bone in terms of market share. I know Adam Silver's kind of like a very finance bro type of owner, where he's very much into market size, these other sort of financial considerations. But I do kind of feel like every WNBA team being in an NBA city is kind of a missed opportunity. Like I would love to see a one team town where there's only one pro ball team, and so the city kind of gets to rally behind the WNBA team in a different kind of way. Like I would love to see a team be like, not anywhere as small as Green Bay, but I would love to see some W teams be the Green Bay Packers of, you know what I mean?
For me, the perfect city for that would be the Nashville bid, because you are close to a large college program, but not in the same city, because it's not in Knoxville. So you have that going for you. You would have wealthy ownership because the Predators ownership is behind it, plus like Peyton Manning.
Titans ownership.
And the Titans ownership was behind that too, okay. Yeah, you have an arena at Bridgestone that's in a prime area of Nashville because it's right on the Broadway Strip, so it's where all the tourism is. You're in the Southeast, which is a big basketball hotbed in general that is pretty underserved because Atlanta's really the only team in that area. And the Dream have just always struggled, well, Atlanta sports teams in general.
I mean, the Hawks
Atlanta sports just struggle to kind of be like anything important other than, I guess, the Braves, but and the Falcons sometimes.
Losing incredible Super Bowl comebacks.
Yeah, that too. Anyways, I'm not really happy the Patriots won, but I am happy the Falcons lost. Anyway, the good old days. Anyways, of watching your most hated rival give up an epic lead.
When I went to New Orleans for the first time, I saw
that flag. It's
a giant flag on somebody's balcony of the score, Falcons 28, Patriots 3.
It's like famous.
For a brief second, I was like, wait a second, Patriots fans out here? And then I realized, no, they fucking hate the Falcons that much. The same fans do not like the Falcons.
No,
the same fans might be the only people on earth who think about the Falcons, which is kind of the funny part.
No, we are, actually, probably. Well, anybody else in the division, too, like Panthers and Bucks fans, but other than that, that's it. No one else thinks about the Atlanta Falcons, ever. At least, no. We are haters, but...
I appreciate
that sign. That flag is famous, like, for sure. I've definitely seen pictures of it multiple times.
It stayed there for years after that too. Like, it's been up there for a hot minute.
No, it's still there.
Yep.
I'm pretty sure it's still there. But anyways, Nashville would be like the perfect location for that kind of, I think, thing where you would be in that southeast kind of corridor where you have a lot of people who would come to watch. Like, not only do you have obviously like more of the southern states attached, but you're also close to like Kentucky, so you have all those college towns around there too. Like in Indiana, it's another team. Yep. You'd have that instant rivalry with Indiana because it's right there. Like there's just so much. It'd be like the perfect location.
Nashville, Kansas City, St. Louis.
Actually, Louisville would work. It's a nice city.
Louisville would work too.
Yeah, Nashville just seems perfect because if the WNBA is like bag chasing, then
it's a lot of tourism money in Nashville.
Nashville's definitely
a lot of bachelorette party.
Well, Nashville's basically, like it's Nash Vegas. It's basically like the hillbilly version of Las Vegas, and so it's and you have like a perfect venue, and plus you'd have like stable ownership, and you'd also have connection. You'd have that ability because I know that they submitted their bid as the Tennessee Summits, and so you'd have that connection to college basketball. You'd have an historic connection, like to one of the most famous coaches ever. Like you'd have and a lot of players in the league who played for her, right? So who had played for her. So there would just be a lot going for that kind of program, and I think it would be perfect. So I agree. I wish that they took that more seriously. So I don't know. I am glad that at least the Toronto ownership isn't MLSE on some level. Yeah.
Oh man.
Because I think MLSE is ass, and I think Larry Tannenbaum will do a much better job as the owner. He's actually invested in a real way. So yeah.
Toronto's kind of a no-brainer. Portland, I feel like small city. But I think also kind of a no-brainer because Portland shows up for women's sports.
It does.
Like we've seen with the Portland Thorns, they show the fuck up for women's sports.
And geographically, it's like very key because you have a perfect little Pacific Northwest corridor there now, where there's an instant rivalry with Seattle and Golden State, and it's just kind of a perfect location. I think lesser known basketball kind of hotbed, but definitely an important. They have very strong fans. Plus,
Blazers a few players that come out of there. You know what I mean? Portland produces some people every once in a while too.
I feel like Seattle's a little bit more known for some of the players. That
way better talent in Seattle for sure.
Yeah, I was like, but it's still, Oregon's definitely like, yeah, there's some people from there for sure. But I'm excited for the Portland Fire to be back at least. At least they came back ethically. I won't hold that against the Comets though. It's not their fault.
Hey, Detroit coming back, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm excited for that. I mean, like, Tom Gores can kind of kick rocks, but that's beside the point. I mean, I think all NBA owners are low-key evil, so it's...
At this point, where the level of wealth required to own an NBA team is in the many billions, it's...
yeah.
Getting there. There's nobody who owns, or who has recently bought a major pro sports team who was just like, I'm rich because I own a sports team. They're rich, you know, you have to be mega rich before you even try it. Like, nobody's like Al Davis, where like his wealth is the Raiders,
family.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, no one's the Buss family anymore.
Yeah,
even the Buss family
there's no
sold,
buses.
So, no. Well, and that's the thing is like the Mark Davis, like this whole pivot to well, and the Aces are a perfect example of if you get ownership who's invested, it doesn't matter if they're NBA specific or it doesn't have to be in an NBA city, right? Las Vegas was also the perfect like opportunity because they were kind of there before the Golden Knights too, so they had that for them. But
and we know the league loves some gambling sponsors, so
we do.
Got access to that. I sometimes worry for the women's players who play in Vegas, not because they're not whooping everybody's ass, but because people get a little sauced and they get a little bold once they place them bets and they don't pan out. Like we've seen somebody basically try to run up on like James Harden before. Like that shit is concerning. A lot of people out there need to call that hotline.
It's concerning for like all players, but especially in hot spots like that, and honestly, especially for women players in general. Yep. I think there's like an added just security situation that's not ideal. And I don't think any of the leagues are taking this seriously enough. No, not even. I don't get the impression that they are. Their concern is greatly outweighed by them giant dollar signs floating in front of their eyes, cartoon style. Gonna be honest, I also don't think players are taking it as seriously necessarily. Some are, like I think a lot are obviously who've been run up on, but then at the same time, they're also fueling a lot of that behavior with their own investments into like, I mean, Giannis with Kelce. Like,
the players own like Kelce and stuff like that, yeah.
Literally investing in the predictions market, but then even like Kelsey Plum's like AI thing. Like, those are all very creepy steps that are going to, like, cause harm to you one day. Like, they're
also,
just...
it was like...
It's not
the
gambling,
Kelsey Plum AI thing was so stupid. It was like, it's like a little chatbot that pretends to be Kelsey Plum, and you just, like, ask it a question, and it just gives you, like... It basically just gasses you up and throws some, like, recycled black slang at you in a Kelsey Plum voice, and it's just like, oh, this is...
It's weird.
I don't know, man. How much did they pay her? I have no idea.
It's very strange, and again, it goes back to that discussion we had about not all money is good money.
Yeah.
But hey, I don't want to count other people's money. I don't have any, but it's just feels a little like we don't need to be taking everyone's cash just because we had none before. But anyways, the WNBA did finally sign the CBA, so that is, we buried the lead a little bit. We are 20 minutes into the podcast without mentioning Panda Watch is over. So we kind of buried the lead, but they signed a CBA. We'll do more of a deep dive into it later, but I think that for the most part, this was a really good step forward on a lot of fronts for players, and it allowed the expansion draft to finally take place. So for those of us who are cheering for an expansion team, yay. And that's what we're kind of going to deal with mostly today. So we're going to do a little mock expansion draft.
So for this one, for those who don't know, there was a coin flip. Tempo and the Portland Fire, obviously going to be the two new expansion teams for this season. Tempo won the coin flip, and they elected, so they had the option of going first in the expansion draft or going first out of the two in the actual WNBA college draft, right? And Tempo said, we want them college players. We want to be one spot up on that. So they're going to be going 5th. The Fire will be going 6th in the WNBA draft. And meanwhile, the Portland Fire will have the first pick in the expansion draft, which is following a really weird format. It's like it's a snake format, but it's not like a straight every round, doubling up kind of thing. It's 2 rounds, and each round there's going to be 6 picks per team. In the first round, the Fire will be going first 6 times. In the second round, it flips. The Tempo will be going first 6 times. So kind of a goofy order, but the good news is rosters have expanded a bit with the new CBA, so everybody's got to have 12 players. You can't just run around with 11. And there's also going to be spots for developmental players who don't count against the cap and who kind of get paid like a per diem, which is not like super ideal, but it's
better than
nothing,
what they had before. Yeah.
So if you're a young player who doesn't immediately latch on to one of these super packed, super talented rosters, there's at least a chance for you to be able to train with the team and hang around and get called up or down as needed. So it's helpful. It's helpful. It's something.
Yeah, it's something. I mean, the good news for the Tempo and the Fire, frankly, is that this is a pretty deep draft. Because like every mock I've looked at where the Tempo are going 6th, there's
I was wrong. They're 6th, not 5th.
There's players every
Portland will
in
be
Portland
7th.
Yeah. And there's like every draft, every mock is different, especially right now. But every time I'm like, oh yeah, like I could fuck with that. Like one I saw was Cody McMahon. One I saw was a guard out of Richmond. Like every player I've seen, I'm like that's actually pretty solid. Like I can mess with that. So I think I like that strategic decision, especially considering with the expansion draft, there is some really good UFA talent out there, but you can only select one UFA at the end of the day. So you have to be pretty careful and pretty sure that you can get them to sign with you. So that's a thing.
There's and you can't offer them the Supermax in the same way that the parent team can, so it's a little bit tough.
You can. So
just for that one. Your other UFAs who you try to get, you cannot.
No, and you may not have the right to do it depending on. So, for instance, Brianna Jones just came to the Dream, so she hasn't been with the team long enough for the player. So, if Toronto drafts her, they can't offer her the Supermax anyway, even if she's their only UFA. So that all comes into play too. It's really confusing. This whole free agent situation definitely is changing the way that the expansion draft will work for sure.
Yeah, so doing an expansion draft when almost nobody technically has a team right now is it's an undertaking. Let's just say that.
Yeah, it's weird, but I also understand how you can't do it after free agency either.
Yeah.
Anyways,
who the fuck would you sign?
With that, we decided that obviously being the homer, I'll be the tempo. Chris is going to draft like the fire.
The irony is that I live in Toronto and she does not.
I actually live closer to Portland than he does. Should we switch?
No, because you're actually rooting for the Tempo's success in a way that I, as a Mercury partisan, will not be.
Yeah.
Not that I don't want them to do well, but I hope we beat them by 50 every time we play them.
I've been really battling with like my fandom ideas because I'm like, I can't not cheer for them, but like I'm still a Sky fan. But I can't not cheer for the Tempo. I've been wanting this for like my whole life. I can't not cheer for
I thought Calgarians were supposed to hate Toronto.
Unless it's the only team in town, and then fine.
Yeah, only team in country.
Yeah, exactly. It's the only option, so... A lot of Jays fans here, man. Let me tell you, on Friday there's a lot of Jays jerseys floating around. So, yeah, we hate Toronto until it's the only place where the sports team exists, and then we're like, we'll tolerate you for this one moment. This one thing. So, also a surprising number of... Well, not surprising because of the ad campaign, but a lot of Torontonians live here, so that's also a thing. But yeah, I will definitely be cheering for the Tempo, so I guess we can do that. We decided we're going to draft these teams as if we were drafting, not trying to guess what their teams are actually going to do.
Yeah, I have no idea what they're going to do.
We're not plugged in. The list we're going to roll off of for protected players is from Twitter.
Hey, shout out to Twitter.
Yep.
It's still out there, man. It's still breathing. It doesn't function at all, but it's still breathing.
It's still useful for one thing, and it's for this particular purpose.
Literally, sports and goofy jokes is why Twitter is still running.
And frankly, the only reason we're going to use this list is because it's easier for when I share my screen for people to visually see.
It's color coded, which I really appreciate.
Yes, that was nice. It is a very pretty list. The list I sort of based on was a different article in her Hoop Stat, but honestly, a lot of the protected players are looking pretty set. So this list we're going off of is players who are. I'm just looking. That looks protected. Okay, cool. All right.
I already know who one of your picks is going to be. So.
I'm just trying to understand.
I'm locked in. I know it.
Just confirming. So the people on the left are people that we're thinking are protected, and then people on the right.
Yeah.
Expansion target. Okay.
Don't worry. Y'all not leaving Angel Reese.
Yeah, that's what I was like. Just making sure. That would be confusing and weird. Okay. Well, I will share my screen. Okay. Well, it's only gonna actually let me share one thing on my screen, so I can only share the list.
So for those at home, please understand that I will probably try to make like 5 different picks that break the rules because these are Byzantine and weird and complicated. But I'm always welcome to be corrected.
All right. Well,
it's a very confusing process.
With the first pick, it is. Yeah, it was. I don't know. If picking your one free agent and then you're like, well, I don't really know. It's weird. But with the first pick in the 2026 expansion draft, the Portland Fire, who are you taking?
Portland is on the clock. So we're operating on the assumption that Ezzy Magwagor is going to be exposed.
Yes.
And that is who we are making a run at with our first pick. I'm not doing any research on our stats or nothing. I just know... Oh, she's 26. Yeah, perfect age for starting a team up. I was worried she'd be like 28, 29 or something like that. It'd be kind of a weird timeline thing. 26, 6'4", arms long as hell, can protect the rim. That's going to be our foundational player. We're grabbing her, probably offering her the max. You know what I mean?
So who did you have as protected instead of her? A different list I had her protected.
The Twitter one had Malonga, Gabby Williams, Jordan Horston, Nneka Ogwumike, and Skylar Diggins protected.
They left Dominique Malonga off. Or no, Gabby Williams. Sorry.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Okay. I was like, I'm so confused. Okay, well, in that case, I'm just going to go ahead and make my UFA pick now because I think that I want to get that out the way. With my first pick, I'm bringing Emma Meeseman to Toronto. Two Emma Meeseman are a Toronto Tempo. Because I'm being hopeful here. Because we can't exactly offer her the Supermax, but I do believe we trade for her rights. So I don't know if we can core her. If we can't core her, the thing that is what we're hoping for here is that she would opt to play in Canada. One, because she chose to play for Sandy Brondello when she came over last year at the end of the year anyway. She chose New York, and I don't know if it was to play for Sandy or if it was to play with Brianna and Sabrina, but regardless, she chose Sandy. Two, she's not committed to playing. She's an international player, so playing in the United States isn't particularly important to her. Yeah, that's kind of my gambit that I'm really, really hoping pans out.
Okay. Not a bad
Just figured I'd just jump at my UFA person right now. And I mean, frankly, if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. It's one of those kind of no harm, no foul picks because it's you're clearly showing that you value that player if they do decide to play over here. And I think with the new CBA, I'm not sure how it's really working with international players, but hopefully it will entice them to want to come over, especially with the money now. And we're kind of out of the Olympic cycle. Well, we're in the Olympic cycle, so I don't know. But anyways, Portland is on the clock.
All right, Portland at number 2, and I'm probably missing somebody really obvious that I should have taken instead. But we're looking for. So we have a rim protector. We have a center who can do some stuff down low a little bit. We want somebody with an absolute rifle. We're taking Cecilia Zamalassini.
Okay.
Shout out Italy, Viva Italia, etc., and we're gonna she gonna shoot the fucking lights out, and we're gonna need her too, because expansion teams tend not to have that much creation, tend not to have that much high value scoring. So she's gonna be in that corner, and she's gonna be putting that shit up every time she touches the rock.
And she loves to do that, so she will be happy to oblige. The Lynx are definitely in a tough spot with all the players they're gonna have to leave open. Because it's interesting, this Twitter list has Bridget Carlton as a protected player. A different list has Bridget Carlton unprotected. She is a UFA. The problem is that the Lynx are definitely going to fear having to pay everybody. I think if Bridget was left open, then you know that if Toronto did draft her, she'd probably say yes. But are we going purely off this? Do you want to go just off this list for our protected players?
Yeah, I think that's fair. I'm kind of doing a combination of the two. I'm just kind of flipping back and forth.
Cool. That works for me because it does make a difference. So in my case, for this next pick, I think that I don't know. I want Isaiah James. I think that Sandy Brondello always likes to have a good young guard. I think Isaiah James would be a great young player for her, but she just needs to have a good guard. I just feel like she showed a lot on her rookie deal. It's the kind of talent that we need to have in there. So the 5th pick, Portland is back on the clock.
So you went Belgian once already.
Lord.
We need a responsible point guard. We need someone who can organize our probably going to be under-talented offense. Bring along whatever young player we draft afterward. I'm going to take Julie Allemande.
As soon as you said Belgian, I'm like, you're going one of two ways. And as soon as you said responsible, I was like, oh, yeah, not. Because responsible is not how I would describe Julie Van Loo.
we are taking Belgian Chris Duhon, and we are going to have a nice low turnover, high assist, kind of low shot attempt lifestyle. It is going to be very nice.
Yeah, sometimes you need that stabilizing force in your life. Well,
shout out to Belgium. I wish they had good wine, but we'll do a Belgian beer someday if Allemande's team wins our championship.
We can fuck up some saisons.
Tripel, oh goodness.
I do love me a Tripel. That is delicious. I had a list, and now I'm all like, in the draft room, things change. You're like, oh boy, what do I need?
Yeah, high pressure in the war room, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, okay, so we've got a big. Definitely need some wing scoring. I mean, the thing about Meeseman, she's pretty. You know what? Fuck it. I need to sell some tickets. I'm going with Marine Johannes. Got my backcourt.
That's the player I had in mind at the very beginning when I said I knew who you were going to pick. I knew this was happening.
Well, I am nothing if not predictable.
The Canadians should gravitate to a French player, I think. You know what I mean?
Well, not in Toronto, but yeah, she's not that kind of French, so it's fine.
Hey, when you're one team for the whole country, they're gonna come over.
She'll also probably
Quebec is right there.
She'll probably also not like Quebecers, so she won't be able to understand them.
I mean, to be fair, they get a hard rap. You know what I mean?
To be fair, it's not entirely undeserved. But anyways, Portland.
Portland has a decision to make here. Let me see if I can even see my entire screen. All right, I'm looking Minnesota right now, and I know I'm taking one of their players partly because I think it's just responsible, you know, to pick one of these quality players they have to offer, but also partly because fuck them. I want to break this team up. I'm tired of them whooping our asses when we play them. I'm picking a restricted free agent because you only get one UFA, so I can't take Bridget Carlton or Dejanay Carrington or Jessica Shepard or Natisha Heidemann. I'm going with Maria Kliundakova, and our team is going to be tall and long.
I was also looking at her. I loved her. So she used to go by Maria Vadieva. She was with the Sparks when she first got drafted. Really solid big. She showed out last year for the Lynx. One quick thing. So I saw something in the Richard Cohen article about that they're only a team can only lose up to 2 players. Okay, so we've now both picked Lynx players. Now, wait, did I?
Wait, did you?
No, I haven't yet. Never mind. I sort of.
Yeah, we can still do more damage to the Minnesota Lynx.
Okay, one more Lynx player can go. Who did I have there for the Lynx? Oh, I don't know if I like that anymore. Okay, well, the Toronto... Oh, one of them was Maria Kliundakova. kind of hurt me. A lot of guards on my list, so that's not really great. But, yeah, you know what? Fuck it, we're doing more damage to the Minnesota Lynx. I'm going to take Jalen Sherrod.
Okay.
I think that she has a lot to offer the WNBA. Again, she's one of those players where it's like, if she makes it on the roster, fabulous. If she does not make it on the roster, then unfortunate. But she showed out she also has familiarity playing with Sandy Brandello in New York. So she was there briefly before she went to Minnesota. So she was on the championship team. So got that dog in her. She's a cool player.
All right,
Texas just beat Michigan, by the way.
Hell yeah. I'm looking at Dallas. And we have enough talls. We don't need Ueru. Arike is tempting if they don't protect her, which I think they might not.
I think they will.
But
I think they will.
But what I'm gonna do instead, I'm not like, hey, we have to make the playoffs year one. I'm just assuming the Portland fans are gonna show up and show out, right? So yeah. I want to take a chance on a former number 6 overall pick, who hasn't really quite hit at the WNBA level yet. 3-point shot hasn't really come around, but I think there's some juice there. I'm gonna go with Haley Jones, who's only 20, about to turn 25.
Okay, I see you. I respect it. Haley Jones.
A good Bay Area player. You know, Portland won't feel too out of her element. You know, she's from Santa Cruz, San Jose area.
All right, so we're done taking teams we can no longer take players from Minnesota or Dallas.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I think Haley can find her. I think she'll find her way in the league. Maybe coming back to the Pacific Northwest, or that will kind of do good for her. She showed out a little in Phoenix last year. She showed some promise. I definitely was torn on my wings player between Isaiah James and Awak, because I've always loved Awak Koyer, but her contract currently right now is suspended, so I'm not really sure what the deal is with that, and I just didn't really want to touch that as a result. But I also looked at Diamond Miller. That's kind of I just feel since that injury, she just has not been the same. Alright, so I think that the Toronto Tempo are going to take, oops, scrolled to the wrong place, my bad. Valkyries can still. You know what? I'm gonna go with, Steady Eddie Kate Martin. Second expansion draft for Kate and Cecilia Zandalicini. Tough.
They're in high demand. What can I say?
I mean, they just kind of fit in. Kate Martin really feels like a Sandy Brandello player. I don't know how else to describe it. She just does. Yeah, I mean, I feel like there's just worse directions to go in, you know? You can kind of, something good there. Portland.
All right, so I am looking at the Sparks. I feel like we've kind of
left
them alone so far.
I was looking at them too. Don't steal my players. No.
So one list assumes that Dearica Hamby is going to be protected and that Azure Stevens would also be protected, which leaves just like Ray Burrell, Alyssa Pilley, Lee Van Loo. I kind of want to make the Alyssa Pilley pick, but I'm not like super sold. She hasn't really gotten a chance at the WNBA level yet. I don't know if she's just gonna be like a developmental player for us. I think I'm gonna hold off on the Sparks for a moment.
Yeah.
And
we've only got one player we're allowed to select from them left anyway. Wait, is it per round or entire, like in total?
For the whole thing.
Okay, that's what I thought.
So I'm gonna look Indiana's way. I think Chloe Bibby, who's a restricted free agent, has a little something. She's very much gonna be a role player on this team. The numbers aren't like her career field goal percentage is really low, but her career 3-point percentage is 40.5. So
she's basically like the version of Jack. She's the WNBA Jack Golke. Like her job is to fire threes, and that's it.
She's going on 28 during this season. We love an Australian, right? As somebody who grew up watching the Phoenix Mercury, we love an Australian shooter. It's wild that she went to Mississippi State from Australia. Like that's a hell of a transition. But yeah, we're going with Chloe Bibby.
Yeah, fair enough. Respect. I need just some.
She's from 300 kilometers northwest of Melbourne. Oh, she country probably. Like you know what? Maybe Mississippi State wasn't that big of an adjustment.
That explains how they were able to recruit her. That tracks.
Yeah, getting somebody to move 7,000 miles to go to Mississippi, like, yeah, the fact that didn't bother her at all tells you something.
Yep, fair enough. I'm looking at the Mystics, and I'm torn because I'm like, do I really need more guard help? So much guard help, it's bad. But at the same time, it's also an expansion draft, so who cares? And at the same time, there's also one of my favorite players, but I'm like, she hasn't really ever latched on fully in the league. Can she? But I think that I'm just going to go for it. I think we're... But wait, do I need shooting? I need some shooting. Yeah, you know what? I'm going back to the Sparks because, we need some shooting up in here. That's not just off of 1 foot like Marines. And we're going to go with Sarah Ashley Barker from the Sparks because...
That name just makes me think of Sarah Jessica Parker every time.
I know, right? It's just like the no-name brand version. So I'm going with her from the Sparks. She really started to show a lot of promise last year. She had to start very early. She was not one of those type of players that was drafted and like probably should have been starting that soon. But she had to due to various injuries, and while the team didn't exactly perform super well, she certainly showed a lot of promise coming off the bench. Starting and then coming off the bench. She kind of fit right back into that role really well. And then since that ends round 1, I guess. Sorry.
Yeah, but you're picking again at the top of rounds.
But I pick again because it's the weirdest snake draft in the world, kind of. So I'm going to go with Nikolina Milic from the Connecticut Sun.
For the unfamiliar, why that pick?
She feels very much like, again, a Sandy Brondello type player. She's kind of just big, long, she can shoot, like just versatile forward, to be honest. She played for Cheryl Reeve in Minnesota for a while. I don't really remember her being on the Sun last year, but she kind of bounced around a little bit after that. Kind of as, honestly, she was on the team a little bit before Zandalicini got there, so same kind of type player. She's been really showing out at the Fee-Bitch level, so...
Find someone on the Mystics who wasn't on their rookie deal. Man, at this point, it's getting a little bit rougher. Yes. I am once again going to draft on untapped potential. We're running to the Mystics right now. Emily Angstler's 4 years into her WNBA career. Hasn't really taken off. Had a really good 2024 where she shot really well from 3 and from 2, but in just 14 minutes a game. So we're running Angstler, former 4th overall pick in the 2022 draft. So there's something there. So
you took one of my girls. I almost took her there, and I thought about it, but I just got nervous about the fact. I love Emily Angstler. She, Louisville girl. Well, she went to Syracuse first, then transferred to Louisville. I feel like the Fever did her a slight disservice by drafting her as high as they did.
It's the same high school as Jose Alvarado, too, I think.
Yeah. So Washington is officially off the list of teams we can take players from. So I'm going to make a list now because it's actually a lot. Okay, so we can no longer take teams from the Wings, the Sparks, the Valkyries, the Mystics, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Wait. Okay, gotta cut this part out. But I know the Mystics are still on the list. But we're running.
Yeah, I think the
low
only
on-
Mystics player taken is Angstler.
Angstler. Okay. Who else are we missing? Oh, the Lynx.
Klunikova and
Rod are from the Lynx.
Yep.
Okay, and then Fever is still open. Wings are done. Sun are still there. Sky are still open. Dream are still open. Okay, so we
Yep.
can out cheer from the Wings, Sparks, Valkyries, or Lynx. Okay,
Yep.
cool. In that case, then I'm gonna go. This is getting tough. It's like low-key just kind of a best talent available situation.
a little bit, yeah.
Well, assuming... Oh, God. I don't really know what to assume about this. Yeah, screw it. Because I definitely need another point guard. I'm going to go with Nika Mule. The Stormer.
Okay.
Done.
Still has yet to make her debut, but should be healthy enough to play.
I think that's like a bet on talent situation at this point in the draft. Like, I think that she... I really liked her college game. I think she was going to be productive at the WNBA level. I think the Storm are definitely a disaster on top of her injury issues. And that's definitely... her career just hasn't quite started, but I feel like maybe a fresh start in the WNBA would be useful for her. And if any of my other 17-point guards don't pan out, then...
Never had too many of those, right?
This is building a house out of point guards.
That's a point guard I'm surprised you didn't take.
Who's that?
She may or may not play for the Chicago Sky.
Haley Van Lith.
Yeah.
I was looking at it, but I'm really conflicted on whether or not she'll be protected.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how invested they are in her future, but she's around.
Because on that list you sent me, they have her protected. But on the
Yeah.
other list we were operating on, she's not. And I just don't know. And so that felt kind of like, I'm going to leave that alone for right now.
Yeah.
I also think, to be perfectly honest with you, I think Nika has a higher ceiling. Maybe injuries have changed that. But I mean, Haley had a pretty tough year last year with injuries. But I think they're both kind of in the same place. I think I trust Nika a little bit more.
She has better size, probably better adaptability to the pros type of game. Can play
I was
defense
gonna
really
say.
well.
Yeah, I think she just fits that a little bit better. So, anyways, you're back on the clock.
So for my next pick, both West Belts are projected to be available. I'm gonna go with the younger Maddie, who's only 24. And plays for your Chicago Sky.
Good call, yeah. Maddie had a good season last year.
She shot well from 3. And you know what? That's one thing our team is going to be able to do. Are we going to get to the rim ever? I fucking hope so with all this spacing. But if we don't, whatever, man. We'll shoot 60% of our shots from deep. I don't give a shit.
I'm going for it.
What if they made the whole plane out of 3 and D players?
Fair enough. Hey, they're important. The good news,
Yep.
You know what? You can trade one of them eventually.
Maybe even 2 or 3. We could package them together. Yeah?
Yeah.
We're going to draft somebody who can dribble. We only have
Super.
Julia Alamon to handle the ball right now.
Yeah, she's fine. She's a pretty low turnover player. So you're safe.
I assume Haley Jones can do some ball handling. I just haven't seen much of her play.
Yeah, that's kind of always been her role. She's kind of a weird point forward type. I'm going to go with Lexi Held here for the same shooting reasons from Yep. So
Bro, busted her a whole lung, and now she out here getting taken in the expansion draft.
Yep.
Gotta learn how to speak Canadian now and everything. Damn.
Yep.
Gotta start
about you?
talking. Gotta start doing up talk at the end of all her sentences.
She showed some shades of Allie Quigley here and there in her being from DePaul. I was torn between her and Kitty Alexa, but I'm never really sure if Kitty is going to actually play in the WNBA.
Yeah, she was kind of a part-time player with the Mercury last year. Like, she can shoot it, but the numbers didn't really support her shooting it. But I know
right.
she can.
She's fucking shredded, I know that.
Yeah, good man, good for her.
Girl's got abs.
I emerged from this winter not shredded.
Same. Yeah, same.
Maybe
been
like
tough.
soft-boiled, I think, is about where I'm at right now.
Soft push. Yeah. I'm not quite fully cooked, but I'm on my way. Anyways, Portland, back on the clock.
So, I'm kind of torn on Kirsten Bell, right? Because Kirsten Bell was a starter on a very, very good team. Can do some stuff on the court. Pretty atrocious offensive numbers, but a winning player, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know how Kirsten will look outside of the context of the buzzsaw that is the Las Vegas Aces, But you know what? Fuck the Aces. We're taking Kirsten Bell. So
Yeah.
we'll find out, and they'll find out what Bell looks like outside of the Aces. Because I got to take somebody from that team out of personal vendettas.
I mean, fair enough. Yeah, I respect that.
Jewel Lloyd is also available, but I'm just not even trying to sign even a makeshift superstar. I'm just trying to get
Well, that's
a
like
bunch
the
of role
struggle
players.
with Jewel is that like she did not produce last year in any way that suggests she should be paid, like a star. And
If
I
Lloyd
feel like
was
the only way that
38
she's gonna.
Oh, sorry. If
Yeah.
she's 28 instead of 32, I would have picked her immediately.
Well, and I think especially, and I think unfortunately it's hard to. I think the only way to get her to be amenable to necessarily playing in an expansion franchise would be to pay her a lot, and I don't think it's worth that.
Yeah.
Sadly. Excuse me. Just checking something. Because. Yeah, she's not very big, damn. Okay. Need some size. Okay, you know what? We're going to take, at this point in the draft, we're just taking some risks here. And I'm going to go with Hanshu.
Okay.
Her contract is currently listed as suspended. And I don't think that they can protect her. Because the Liberty have a lot of players to protect. Yeah. Hanshu definitely will be available. I mean, they chose to leave, obviously, Brianna Stewart open, which is very funny. But she will not. I mean, she chose to come back to New York anyway.
She'll be back.
So, yeah. So I think I'm going to go with Hanshu just because, honestly, at this point, it's kind of a no risk, no reward situation. If she doesn't come back, oh well, worth having her rights. She's tall and
Tall
can
as
shoot
hell.
really well. Yeah, tall as hell, shoots really well, very fun, has a history with Sandy Brondello. So if she's going to come back from overseas for anybody, probably going to be her.
Taller than a mug, man. Crazy. So I'm on the clock again. So at this point, we kind of have most of the players who are either going to be starters or who are going to be like placeholder starters until we draft or sign somebody in free agency, right? At this point, last few picks, I'm thinking about just taking flyers on talented players who maybe can be awkward fits, maybe who haven't quite panned out yet, maybe who just haven't been given a chance. I'm going to run with Anchorage's own Alyssa Peely.
Oh, we can't do the Sparks.
Shit, we're out of Sparks players. Oh no!
We're also out of Liberty players now.
All right, so as I said, I would eventually try to make an illegal pick, and we're there now. All right,
We're there.
We've made it. All right. Kalani Brown is tempting, but my team's pretty tall already, and she won't be a starter, I don't think. Not with McGregor already on the team.
Yeah, anchoring around as he is interesting.
It is. She's not gonna be the number one option on offense, I'll tell you that. But she is gonna be a very important player. All right, what teams are left? Pretty sure we have Valkyries available. No, Valkyries are done because you have
So
Kate Martin.
the ones not available are the Wings, Sparks, Valkyries, Lynx, Storm, and Liberty. So the Dream.
Got Atlanta, the Sun. I'm pretty sure.
Yes, we have one player gone from there. We have the Dream. We have the Sun, the Sky.
Dream, Sun, Sky. All right.
We have the Fever and the Aces.
Dream, Sun,
And the Mercury. No.
Yes.
I
Yeah, because you
took
took Held.
Held. Yeah, okay.
Sky.
And I believe we have the Mystics left. Yes,
Okay, so how much do
So we're
I
close.
know about Maya Caldwell? Yeah, we're getting to the point where it's a lot of players who haven't necessarily played a ton of ball, right?
Yeah.
18 minute a game. It's a contributor on a playoff team. Shot it reasonably well. 5'11". Can't speak to the quality of her ball handling, but you better fucking be able to. You know what? I'm gonna rock with Maya Caldwell as my pick from the Atlanta Dream. We need some more guards. I feel like I have a lot of wings and like tall people.
See, I mostly have guards, and you have everybody else. So with that,
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with Kalani Brown because I need tall people. The Mercury are officially off the list of available.
Feels weird.
Yeah. Wait, Maya Caldwell plays for
Atlanta.
Atlanta, right? Do we have anybody else off of the Dream on our list?
Let me double check. No.
Okay, cool. So the Dream are still available, but the Mercury are off the list of
I think you can take Griner because I think she can't be.
She's a UFA though. He's a UFA.
Fair.
So I'm not sure how that works between the. I think the non-coring just means that she's like the biggest risk. Of if you draft her, she like
can fly. Shit, I'm already next. You made that pick so fast.
Sorry.
Valkyrie's still available? Nope. Done. Nope. Fever.
Yes.
We just have Bibby, right?
Yes.
They don't have a lot of players who are snatchable, unfortunately. A lot of UFAs. You took Sarah Ashley Barker, correct?
I did, and the Sparks are off the list also.
Link's also off the list. Wow, we're getting it's slim pickings now. You took 2 liberties. Wait, you have Misaman, Shu, and
shit.
Johannes?
My bad. Okay. Oh yeah, no, that works. Yeah, I took Misaman and Johannes.
But you also have that's 3, right? Because you have
Honshu. Yeah, I fucked that up.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll move my Kalani Brown pick there.
Yeah.
And then I'll do a different pick. Okay. My bad. I don't know anything about this person. Well, since we're drinking Italian wine, I'm gonna go with Lorella Kubaj from the Dream. They're also now off the list. She is, yeah, I don't know. She's there. I remember watching her college career. She was like okay, but yeah, she's tallish, Italian, forward. I don't know.
Okay.
My last pick, really, one of my last picks, really. I don't know. Okay.
Alright, so the Mystics are still available?
Yes, Mystics are still available.
Let's see how much I know about JC Shelton.
JC Shelton's fun. I definitely thought about her multiple times.
She is only 25 for now. Is kind of shot it okay. Is a ball player. I will take JC Shelton.
Do we have anybody else off of the Mystics?
Yes. I took Angsler.
Yes, right. So the Mystics are done then.
I saw Nastia Klassen's in here because of her draft rights, and I'm like, she was still playing college ball this year. So that is
I know, right?
Super interesting. That is a Kansas State ball player most recently. So that is fascinating. College ball's weird now.
Very, very strange. It's so strange. Okay. Alright. Well, fuck it. I'm gonna go with the other West build.
Wait, you buried the lead. You buried the lead with the Texas game. They didn't just win. They beat them 77-41.
Yeah.
They beat the shit out of Michigan.
That shit was ugly. I'm not gonna lie to you. It was not pleasant. Mystics are done.
Or I think you gotta scroll a little bit. I can't see the bottom of the picks.
Oh, scrolled up for a sec to look at something. Shit. Oh god, days. Just nobody on that. Nope. I'm just gonna keep scrolling.
There's gotta be 2 teams left.
Right. Screw it. We're gonna take Christy Wallace and hope she comes over. Gotta have at least one Australian for Sandy.
You gotta, if you're a WNBA team, you gotta have at least one Aussie. Like it's. Yeah.
So
I made sure I got mine.
She'll be my my token Aussie, and ideally she'll come over. So last pick.
Does that just leave the Sun, right?
That's the Fever crossing them off. The Sun, the Sky, and the Aces.
Really? Oh shit! Yeah. Okay.
Because the Sky, we only took you only took the West build. I'm pretty sure.
It's interesting. Okay.
I think because so many of the Sky players are free agents. Because that's what hung me up. Because I looked at a bunch of players and I was like, they're all free agents.
But I feel like with 12 non-expansion teams and 2 players per team, there should be like 1 team left, right?
Okay. Well. Okay. So we've got confused. Because who else from the Sun did we take? Milic, and that's it.
You took Milic, that's it.
Okay. From the Sky, we've only taken Westbeld, and from the Aces, we've only taken Kirsten Bell, so we have 3 teams left.
From the Sky? Really?
Yeah.
You didn't take, Van Lith?
No, remember, because I thought that she was probably going to be protected.
Weird. How did we wind up with, 3 teams that aren't, like, locked up?
Not sure.
I am going to...
There was something, though, that said that it was always going to be kind of uneven, so I don't know. Something's not right. Where was Haley Jones?
I have Haley Jones.
Yeah, where was she?
Let me look. Haley Jones plays for... The Wings.
The Wings. I took Isaiah James.
Sure did.
And then that was it from the Wings, I think. Okay. Huh.
Yeah, like, did we triple up on any teams?
That's what I'm trying to figure out.
We have 2 from the Fever. There's some Bell.
Teams that I have that I'm pretty sure we have 2 of. Wings, Sparks, Valkyries, Lynx, Storm, Liberty, Merc, Dream, Mystics.
You know what? I mean, because there's 13 teams currently, not 12, so
yeah, that's why I was like...
I might have skewed the numbers a little bit. I'm still going to pick from...
I would just assume that we have those 3 teams open.
Yeah. I'm going to take Raya Marshall from the Suns. She's probably not one of the most likely to be a factor, but that's just because I haven't seen much ball from her. She played, she appeared in 15 games, 6 minutes a game as a rookie. Second round pick. She can find a role. She's 6'4", can do a little bit of stuff, but at this point, 12th pick, we're hitting free agency, right? We're an expansion team. We're hitting free agency. The last couple players are probably going to be in developmental player slots, or they might not even, make the team depending on how many free agents we sign. So there's a chance that, Raya and Alyssa both might be our developmental players, depending on how much success we have in free agency, getting people to come to Portland.
Yeah, super fair.
So it's a couple young players who haven't really gotten a chance yet. We're going to have them on the roster just so, we can see if they got a little something.
Yeah, and I think that at the end of the day, that's kind of what a lot of these picks are. Because there isn't, especially since there isn't better talent available in this kind of draft because of the nature of everybody being a fucking free agent. And you're kind of like, well, I don't want to. You can only take one free agent player. Sorry, I'm just writing out the teams real quick and I will go over them. But I don't know. I'm really curious to see if they actually publicize the
protected list?
The protected list, because they didn't last time.
Yeah, Sunday was the deadline to actually produce the lists, and they have not been made public. They haven't even been leaked as far as I can tell. So everybody's just kind of been putting forth their best educated guesses to figure out who's going to be exposed to the expansion draft.
Yeah, so I don't know. I'm curious to see, are there any players who you think are kind of likely to be, or who you'd be surprised are exposed?
I think it wouldn't shock me if one team looked at the upcoming free agency extravaganza with damn near every veteran player being an FA and saying, you know what, we have a 30-plus star, we're going to let her go. And we're going to take a shot at somebody else. It would not shock me. I don't know if there's a specific player that I have in mind, but it would not shock me at all if some team decided to move off of a 30-plus all-star in the hopes of taking a swing at somebody that is a little bit younger.
Fair enough, yeah. Yeah, I think that's the same. I also wonder that too. I think Jewel Lloyd's kind of an interesting example of that. Not that the Aces could protect her, but definitely a player who presents interesting challenges because the name on paper, you're like, ooh, Jewel Lloyd, and she can put butts in seats, but she also wasn't very good last year and showed some clear signs of age and not being the same kind of player that she was before. Definitely going to be interesting, but I'm excited for this expansion draft. I'm glad it's finally happening. I think that it will probably clarify rookie draft strategies a little bit.
Sure, for sure.
And free agency strategies a little bit. Do you think, just my first initial thoughts kind of are that I think that the Tempo are probably going to go for more trying to win now a little bit more, and the Portland Fire are giving more development vibe.
It wouldn't surprise me. It wouldn't surprise me. That's kind of how we played it out a little bit, but it wouldn't surprise me if one team kind of takes the, we're going to play it slow type of approach.
I don't know about you, but me knowing who the coach in Toronto is definitely influenced how I picked. I wasn't picking based on who I think they're going to pick by any means, because I'm not, like we said, we weren't trying to do that, and I'm not plugged in.
We don't have sources in the front office.
No, but I still also, it still influenced how I picked, because at the end of the day, this isn't a fantasy draft in the sense that, I don't get to just pick whoever my coach is. I know who Sandy Browndello is, so it did influence how I drafted personally a little bit. And I don't know if maybe that had an effect for you a little bit. It's just maybe knowing he's a college-based coach,
Yeah, Sandy having championships with two different franchises suggests that, hey, she ain't here to see over 10-win team and play it slow. She's trying to win something, right? Portland, a little bit of a different situation. I'm like, hey, we can just take some flyers on some players. I took a lot of players who were former top 10 picks who haven't really become stars, and we're just kind of hoping that with opportunity and with some touches on the ball that they can show a little more than they've shown so far, or that they've had the chance to show. Kind of taking the Golden State Valkyries approach a little bit.
Yeah.
Say, hey, we're gonna take some some discarded players, and we're gonna say, hey, we're gonna give you the rock. If you make something shake in year one, we can turn that into a career. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think my Miesemann pick was definitely the most kind of just fantasy. I really just want that to happen because I would break some joy if that happened. I would go buy a Toronto Tempo Emma Miesemann jersey so goddamn quickly, and that jersey's ugly, and I'd still buy it. I I love Emma Mieseman, so that was a bit of like a dream casting situation a little bit. But I do think it's also realistic in the sense that like it's a signal that you're trying to negotiate with somebody a little bit too, that you want them, right? Like maybe Emma doesn't give a shit. But I do think that also is part of it. I mean, I know that Sandy definitely recruited hard last year. But other than that, like same thing, strategy, just trying to pick players who might have some upside. I went with some younger players who definitely had experience with Sandy already, like Jalen Sherrod, but then also some other kind of younger players too that I feel like would just do well under her. Like I think Nika Mule feels to me like a Sandy Brondella player. You know what I mean? So that definitely influenced things a lot more for me than I think if I was just picking, if we had done this exercise before we knew who any of the coaching staffs were. That might have changed things.
Right.
Like if we'd known, if the CBA hadn't really been a thing, and I mean coaching staffs weren't hired before any of this, and we just kind of had this list like before that, and we could have done this, then might have changed things a little bit, but maybe not. I don't know. I think I do genuinely like all the players I chose as people I like to watch for the most part, but I think it did influence that a little. So I'm curious to see what happens, but I do think the tempo are probably going to go try and hit the ground running. I think there's also an added pressure of being in Canada, feeling like an extra, like you need to put something, as much as I don't think the team's gonna have any issues with support no matter what. I think there's like an extra pressure of like we got to knock this out of the park, because that was definitely a struggle with the Grizzlies and the Raptors being kind of shitty for the first while, is that it definitely tanked the Grizzlies, but it made it hard for the Raptors to succeed for the first long time. And it's hard to build fan bases when you are struggling. All right, cool. Yeah. Any other thoughts on expansion, WNBA, before we move on to some quick thoughts on other basketball topics that have happened? 'Cause there's a lot going on right now.
Super particularly?
Okay. Well, in that case, I guess we may as well stay on women's basketball, because tournament thoughts, as we said while we were recording, Texas just smoked Michigan. Smoked them. I watched the first part of the game before we started recording, and it was rough. The reffing was not great. The swords definitely got punched in the face in front of the ref, and that did not get called. It was tough. Texas beat the shit out of Michigan, but Texas was also hooping. Madison Booker and Rory Harmon are really, really good. So yeah, I think the last part of the tournament here is going to be amazing. I think Texas definitely has what it takes to go all the way. But UConn is also a juggernaut. So again, Gino he's lived long enough to have another cycle of dominance.
God, man. These teams are just, I guess we could talk about it on air, but or no, we're recording right now.
I never actually stopped it. I'm just going to cut out the part. That's easier.
Shit, okay. Yeah, I mean, right now, TCU and South Carolina are duking it out for the right to go up against an undefeated UConn team. I do not envy them. They're 38-0, and they have just been pasting teams left and right all season.
Sarah Strong is something else, crazy. Yeah. The tournament as a whole has been very fun. Shout out, though, to Michigan basketball, because for all of the athletic dominance that Michigan's athletic department has produced, women's basketball has never been a very big priority, and I believe this is the furthest that the team has gone in a very long time, if ever. Congrats to Michigan anyways for having such a great season, and it was mostly powered by a group of sophomores, so they're definitely around to stay, and Kim Barnes-Arico is definitely solidifying herself up top in the coaching rankings, which one of the things you had kind of prompted to want to talk about was kind of the Dawn Staley, Gino Auriemma, that kind of elder statesman of coach, so to speak, and who's coming next, and if there's another void after, people to fill that void after. And I think Kim Barnes-Arico is going to be one of those coaches, but I agree that I don't know who else it'll be. It's definitely going to be really interesting, because Vic Schaefer ain't going to coach forever. These old school coaches are definitely starting to retire, and I know that there was a lot of rumors swirling around Kim Mulkey, because some asshat on Twitter basically tweeted right before the game saying this was going to be her last game for LSU, win or lose. So that was the whole thing. I don't know. Do you have any other kind of coaches in mind who you think are going to be those next kind of players, like Corey Close or any of those kind of?
I mean, it's hard to project, because one of the big things, it has to be somebody who's really, really highly visible from whooping a whole lot of ass. And there's some coaches who aren't super interested in doing that. I believe it was UCLA's coach. They asked her about it, and she was just not really. Corey Close, for people who don't know, she said not looking to be the voice of the sport. And this is somebody who that's Karen Lawson. Sorry, Karen Lawson, not interested in being the voice of the sport. And that's somebody who's going to be the 2028 Olympic coach, right, for the national team.
Yeah.
It's I think UCLA's Corey Close is one of the ones who actually has been pretty vocal, but you don't really get that mantle a lot of times unless you win a couple. And UCLA's in the discussion now. They're getting there, but I think you probably got to win a couple before people necessarily anoint you as the spokesperson of the sport. But I think that's probably the closest thing we have right now, other than
I would
Staley
agree.
and Auriemma.
I think after Staley and Auriemma, there's a teardrop and it's not in level of coach, but in terms of just like, I think, famousness, frankly. Like you said though, and I think Kim Barnes-Rico is on that like rising kind of thing, whereas same with Lyndsay Gottlieb and Corey Close, and the coach in North Carolina, her name is escaping me, and I can't think of her name now to save my life, and that sucks, but she's been really good and has brought like North Carolina women's basketball to prominence.
Courtney Bangart?
Yeah, Bangart. And then, she coached Tennessee last year, got fired, and then she went to Mizzou this year. Oh, damn it. Why can't I think of anybody's name?
Kelly Harp?
Yeah. Because she actually just, in her first year at Mizzou, took Mizzou to one of its best program finishes ever. So there's definitely like a lot of good coaches out there, but none of them have won anything yet, and I think that's going to take some time. But the problem is that Gino and Don are still whipping everybody else's asses. So it's kind of hard to win one when you're playing against
Gino whooping all kind of ass this year.
Because if you think about it, the three best programs in the country, like to beat, are all coached by like old school coaches who've been around a long time, like Vic Schaefer, Don Staley, and Gino, obviously. So yeah, kind of wild.
Shit, I just looked through UConn's schedule. They've only played one single-digit game the entire season.
Yeah, and
they've only had 2 games that were within 20.
UConn is one of those programs that always suffers from playing in like a weak conference, but then when you see them play good talent, you're like, oh no, they're still wiping the floor with them.
They're just still
a buzzsaw. Anyways, we'll keep it. Any final thoughts there? Otherwise, we'll kind of keep it moving on the tournament. I think we'll record before the national title game.
Quick thought on the men's tournament. It's out.
Yeah.
They're out of the women's tournament too. It is a good day. Finally, a good day for America. It's been a while. It's been a minute.
Mashallah, Duke has.
And they choked in hilarious fashion in the men's tourney. Just threw that ball up to nobody in particular. Duke catches the ball, punches it from like 30 feet. Dude doesn't even contest the shot. It's beautiful. Really being a weirdo, just like goes head to head with the ref like a soccer player when they're getting ready to fight. I think he was just fucking with him. I think they're like being, joking and shit. But it was still he's doing a lot. He's doing a lot of. If the relationship with the ref wasn't what it was, that's a tech that like ruins the tourney for them.
Or he's not a white man, probably.
Big facts.
So yeah, Dan Hurley.
If that was Patrick Ewing, they would have him in jail too.
Or fucking Cheryl Reeve. She would have been ejected real quick.
Yeah,
for sure. Don, no, wouldn't have been good for anybody else except him. I mean, I will say the funniest angle I've seen so far of that game winner, or like the reaction angle, was Dan Hurley's mom stance. It's so funny. She's like, "Holy fucking shit!" And it's like, it's so funny.
I see where he gets it.
Yeah,
that one didn't fall at all.
Nope. Now it just kept growing out. You're like, oh yeah, no, you're firmly part of that tree.
Yep.
Yeah, the tournament's been pretty good. It's been really fun. I mean, there's just something about single elimination basketball that's just crazy. I mean, even Duke beating LSU on the women's side, that game was nuts. Hannah Hidalgo's triple-double with steals was crazy.
Master thief, like Lupin, you know what I mean? Like she's been snatching the ball from people like crazy rates this season. Yeah,
crazy. There's just been a lot of fun. A lot of people dancing on Flo J. Johnson's mom's grave currently. Can't say I'm not enjoying that. That's been fun. She's not dead, but just like her trash talk grave. That's wild.
Per game.
Just
absurd. Don't dribble near her, man. Like, just don't do it.
Like, Kawhi Leonard doesn't have numbers like that.
If you see her cross the street.
Like, even Kawhi doesn't have numbers like that.
Young point guard. If you see Hannah Hidalgo cross the street, look the other way.
Just give somebody else the ball. You're like, you know what? It's not my job anymore.
Yeah. Come up off that rock. Go get you another guard who can handle, because one of them, you cannot have somebody do it full time, because she will stalk them.
100%.
It will not go well.
You can't be the New York Knicks, because Jayla, you can't have that one ball handler.
My God. Go get you a Jose Alvarado at least.
Hannah Hidalgo would bully Karl Anthony Towns. It'd be really rude.
Why they always gotta come for my guy Karl, man? You know what? The Karl Anthony Towns thing, I saw.
She'd bully a lot of people.
I think it was Tracy McGrady. And Vince Carter came up to him either before or after the Thunder game, and they were like, "We need you to like establish your dominance, down the post, blah blah blah." Somebody else on Twitter said, "Dude, it's like year 12 for Karl Anthony Towns, man. He just is who he is at this point."
No, it's true. It is. Unfortunately, it's frustrating because there's just parts.
He's still very good, but like.
There's parts that he was supposed to be more.
There's bad Karl and there's good Karl.
He's supposed to be more. Didn't mean to totally make him catch strays, but
if he went 15 instead of number 1, we'd be talking about him very differently.
Hannah Hidalgo would still definitely bully him because she'd bully a lot of people off the court. Let's be real. I'm very scared for everybody when she gets to the league. Yeah, terrifying. But that's kind of
only 5'6". I hate dribbling against small players like that. That shit sucks.
Yeah, that does suck. because they're right up under you, and you're like, but yeah, I have no other thoughts on the tournament. So I guess we can hit a few NBA topics, unless there's anything else you wanted to throw out there. But
speaking of single elimination basketball, the NBA G League has a weird ass playoff format.
oh yeah,
So they play a pretty long season, right? Like the 905 Raptors 905, based out of Mississauga, who I've been covering for a few seasons now. They just finished a long regular season, which is completely separate from the tip-off tournament, which is like 14 whole ass games. So they finished 37-13, right? They played 50 games, played a long ass season, and their reward for having the best overall record is a 4 seed, because the regular season doesn't count any of those first 14 games that they won all of. And now they're the 4 seed in the Eastern Conference, and they get a single elimination home playoff game against the 5 seed. And then the conference semifinals, single elimination again. The conference finals, single elimination. And then the G League finals are a best of 3, right? Which is like, this is the kind of shit I do on 2K when I do like a fantasy
like
draft.
the old WNBA
and I do like a 30-game
format,
season, you know what I mean?
it's like the old WNBA format, but worse.
Damn near the NFL playoffs, man. At this point, like single elimination in basketball at the professional level is pretty rare. Like they don't even do that shit in like EuroLeague. So it's gonna be tough.
Or like NBA Cup, which is not really a thing yet, at least. Yeah, that's kind of wild, actually. I know the G League is definitely always a testing ground for a lot of like unique, like different rules to add in. And like to be fair, I didn't hate some of the single elimination stuff that we did in the WNBA before, but I do think at the professional level it does suck because I don't know. I just think it's like obviously it's like on any given night any team can win, so you kind of need to like build in a little bit of a failsafe to make sure the best teams go forward. I think personally, I've seen it too many times in other sports where a team wins because they just got hot at the right moment, and you're like, that's great, but you're not really the actual best representation of like who the best team was in this league.
And that's the tough thing about the G League too, because like players might get called up and or down from the main NBA team at any moment, so that you might have that 1-game series, and that one game is the one where, man, the Orlando Magic needed this guy, so the Osceola Magic don't have that guy. Or the Cleveland Charge needed this dude, and now he's playing 2 games in a day, and he's got to go back to the G League playoffs after playing 15 minutes for the Cavaliers. You know what I mean? So it's one of them things where, to be completely honest, like I don't even know what players are going to be available to suit up for this first playoff game. Like I can take an educated guess. There's 9 guys, 10 guys that I know will be able to suit up, but some of the top players, I have no clue. I have no clue if they're going to be there. So it's super interesting. By the time this releases, that game will be done, and we'll know kind of how the later rounds are going to shake out. It's a weird league to cover sometimes, and you can have a guy like an extreme difference maker like a Markelle Fultz on the 905 right now. I don't know if he's going to be available for the playoffs or if he's not going to be available for the playoffs because the Raptors may or may not need him. So
I mean,
it's a
super quickly
weird
out
situation.
with Ponte fasciitis and Brandon Ingram on the bench too with the heel issue. We actually probably do need him.
Yeah, they probably do. So even AJ Lawson and Elijah Martin, you never know if the Raptors are going to need them because they played last game.
They were huge in that blowout of the Orlando Magic, right?
They sure were. So who knows? Whatever the case, I will be there Tuesday night.
So fascinating. I love that. That's amazing. I don't know. The G League is cool, and I wish I could pay more attention to it.
It's hard to follow.
It'd be easier if I lived in a G League city. I think I'd be a lot more into it. But I
feel like the league has moved more toward putting G League teams in the same town or right next to the NBA parent team, which is convenient for the players, but for the fan base, it's like, well, why am I going to watch these guys when, for a lot of fans anyway, why am I going to watch these guys if the main team is 15 miles away? And so it's tough to build a fan base.
Yeah, like unless it was already like a junior team that was popular, like the NHL experienced that at the AHL. Like the Winnipeg Jets, their affiliate is the Manitoba Moose. And what's worked for them is that the Manitoba Moose had a really big fan base before the Jets came back. So they didn't lose that fan base. But like this was always kind of a struggle for a lot of teams. Like the NHL, like with Calgary, they do better when their affiliate is here as fan base because people will watch it. But in every city, that's not the case. I think with hockey, it's a bit different too because it's a bit more specific. Like certain cities where they had AHL teams, it's like, well, hockey's not really a thing here. So like, duh. I mean, why was the Flames affiliate in Bakersfield? It makes no sense. It's weird. So.
Shit, you should be a G League team in Bakersfield too. The Bakersfield Jam.
At least that makes more sense. It's a bit more of like a basketball place. Like there's more basketball around Bakersfield, California than there is hockey.
Bakersfield, pro sports hotbed.
But yeah,
Two-team city.
a part of me, I like when a team is like close, but not in the same city. Like
Yeah.
maybe in the same state or like the next state over, like adjacent, where it's like close enough that you can call on your players, but not so far away, but not so close that you're competing for fans because
Minor
you
League
want
Baseball does that really well.
Yes. they're
Toronto's
perfect.
team being in Buffalo works really, really
But I think what also really helps with that is the fact that they almost rarely ever get called up to. Like players
Yeah,
don't get
it's
called
not
up
as
at the
back
same-
and forth.
They don't get called up at the same rate
not
as
as
players
back and
from
forth.
like the AHL or the G League. Yeah, that definitely I
Yeah.
think helps keep the minor system a little bit more separated. And you play in the minors for so much longer. It's crazy. Minor league baseball is actually wild. But speaking of wild things, two people have made some wild statements in the last couple. Well, one of them is known for making wild statements and actually didn't this time. But the other person kind of came out of left field, really out of nowhere. So first, I don't know, I'm actually just really disappointed in Jaden Ivey. I feel bad for him.
He's been doing it
he's
for a
had
minute, so.
Yeah, like when did all of this really start? Because I only saw a video about the Pistons like last week maybe, and then now the one you sent me today that, yeah.
I've seen a few this season. It's been pretty consistent. Somebody said he's trying to take the role of the next Jonathan Isaac, which is
A role that did not need to
disappointing.
be filled.
And he got himself cut from the Chicago Bulls after some recent anti-LGBTQ comments and some rants on other topics. And it's been a lot of those selfie view in his car type videos, which are always kind of, I
A
think that's
good
part of
fight.
like the broader influencer economy now, but they feel a little cry for helpish. And I know he's kind of been going through it since the injury. He's talked about like the Pistons won't matter in like the afterlife and stuff like that. It's not concerning shit, but also like he lashing out on other protected groups is not the solution to any of his personal problems. It's been really disappointing to watch, and I hope somebody helps him out.
Same. I liked Jaden Ivey, and I thought that he was actually like a great flyer for the Chicago Bulls because I'm like, oh, like he showed some flashes in Detroit before that injury. He just didn't really fit next to Cade and with that team anymore. And so then it's like, I thought that the Bulls did pretty decent business there for once by picking him up. I mean, they picked up a bunch of different players, but I thought that was smart because it's like, just let him play and see what happens. Maybe one of these players will be good next to Josh Giddey or whatever. And I thought Ivy had some potential, but yeah, he's just been kind of on one. And I feel for him. That kind of severe injury is really traumatizing for people in general, let alone professional athletes where your whole job is to make money on your body. And that's really shitty. And rehab is definitely one of the most lonely things because you're often away from the team and your teammates and people. So it's crappy. But yeah, like you said, lashing out at groups of people is not really the answer either. And it's pretty well. I mean, I'm glad the Bulls took action. I mean, again, though, you only know they took action because it didn't cost them anything to do it. The Minnesota Timberwolves didn't exactly do much when Anthony Edwards got caught yelling homophobic slurs at people. So, you know, different story. But
Someone said it's like the baby meme, like you're not talented enough to be problematic, you know what I mean?
yeah. Speaking of DeBaby, hilarious clip when LaMelo got cranked in the head or Con Knipple got cranked in the head with a ball at a Hornets game, and DeBaby was like, "Hey, quit hitting don't be hitting the Rookie of the Year in the head," just like yelling at this.
He might be right. He's on to something.
And he might be right. It was genuinely the funniest shit ever because DeBaby looked like he was about to throw hands. Like, don't you touch my child! Like,
As
it was so
someone who
good.
is familiar with his work, he would throw hands.
And he would throw hands.
There's
Yes,
a famous internet video of him beating somebody's ass in the ball.
I've seen it. Yeah.
Yeah, he was not
It was
joking.
just very.
he
it
would
was just
he would
very
ride for
funny.
Concanipple.
It was so funny because he was like had that big like riding for Con Knipple energy. It was hilarious. I loved it.
Yeah, he would throw down for Big Nip for sure.
King nickname. But it is crazy that Con Knipple might actually steal Rookie of the Year from Cooper Flag. Wild, because everybody was like he was the prohibitive favorite, and then nobody saw Con Knipple's rookie season coming. I didn't even know
Once
who
the
it
Hornets
was.
started winning, it started to become a possibility. It really
I
did.
genuinely actually didn't even know who he was before this season. So
I knew he
Duke.
was a Dookie, and he looked like he played for Duke.
sure did. Anyways, but yeah, the Jaden Ivey thing really disappointing. Hope that he gets some help. But other psychotic people saying things. Joey Mazzulla. We're gonna start a segment called "Did Joe Mazzulla Say That?" or is it not Joe Mazzulla? And we'll get there. So, first of all, he was asked about Coach of the Year and basically said, "Get this shit out of my face. It's all about the players." And this is the first time maybe that he's said anything that I'm like, "Yes, Joe Mazzulla. Yeah, I can see that." I don't agree.
I find myself
Like-
enjoying him more and more lately. I still think he would be incredibly strange to be around socially.
100%.
I don't think I would like enjoy his company, but every once in a while now he says something where I'm like, you know what? I kind of fuck with that energy. I think he expressed it in the weirdest and like most intense way possible 90% of the time. But I'm like, you know what, Joe? I have warmed up to your stylings. I'm
gonna be honest, the content of what he says most of the time is not really that like disagreeable.
This is how you get your mind right. You watch The Town like 3 times a day for your entire life.
Sounds like American Psycho every time
Mark
he talks.
Wahlberg gets you right, you know what I mean?
Apparently. Like, does he actually, or is he just pandering to the people of Boston?
Like, it's a good movie, but I'm like, there's probably better Boston movies. I liked it, but I don't think it was like, you know, it's not a Mount Rushmore movie. Like, we gotta, I would ask Bill Simmons, is The Town a Boston Mount Rushmore movie? And I feel like he probably already has a podcast on this, but
I was gonna say, I'm sure
I don't want to search for it. I'd rather just ask him face to face.
Well, yeah, because that means you're meeting Bill Simmons, so yeah. But
he may even throw me $5.
Well, that's all you can ask for. Anything else you wanted to hit up before we wrap up this episode? We should.
Shout out to Charles Barkley, whose third eye is fully open. As a sort of a final thought, it's been interesting to see Barkley sort of evolve as a public figure in the last 10, 15 years. I remember kind of maybe like late 2000s, early 2010s, I remember him kind of being like, man, I used to vote Republican, but I can't in good conscience vote Republican. Whichever election it was, I'd have to find the actual quote, but it's been interesting to see him forcefully stand up for queer people and for trans people and say in no uncertain terms, I'll whoop your ass if you're yeah. transphobic. And then now, you know, coming on national TV during, you know, like a March Madness studio show and talking about the unfair treatment of immigrants in the country and stuff like that. It's been such an interesting development from a dude who, as he said before, used to vote Republican, but also who had an ad campaign back in the day. It said, I am not a role model. And now he maybe kind of is one. Maybe it's not what he's trying to do consciously, but I feel like he kind of understands the social responsibility he has and the weight of his words. Yeah. And it's just been interesting to see him sort of develop as a public figure beyond just being like the funny guy on TNT, you know what I mean? It's been like an evolution for Chuck.
It's been really cool, I think. And I wonder if a big part of that is that in his role as more of a public figure, like in this side versus as a basketball player, he actually just meets more people. It just seems like I don't mean that in terms of his views like developing the way they are, because I think he's probably whatever, like that's probably part of it, but there's more to that. I just mean in terms of like, you know, the whole I'm not a role model thing. Because I remember like Courtney Williams actually said that too. And I think some of that doesn't come from like a place of like not wanting to do good things. It just comes from a place of like I think especially with Charles Barkley, like a part of me really wonders if a lot of that came from the like I don't want to be like Michael Jordan, like just being kind of like a puppet for her. You know, like a role model, like on the like, you know, the life box and like all that kind of stuff, where it's like maybe to Charles that didn't really feel authentic, and this feels like Charles being authentic. Like the one thing about Charles Barkley is he's Charles Barkley, and you can tell the way, because even the way he's conveying his messages, you're like, yeah, that's exactly how Charles Barkley would say that, or how Charles Barkley would, you know, like tell that story. And yeah, he's stood up for a lot of various like groups over the years, and I've always appreciated it as a queer fan, where I'm like, oh wow, like Chuck actually, you know, I've always wanted to believe that most of these people are good people and would always be there, but it's always nice to actually hear it out loud. And so when Chuck takes the time to like say those things, you're like, oh, that's refreshing, because he's not afraid to. And I do think, yeah, just talking to people and being around a lot more people, I think he listens too. You can tell that he's someone who listens to other people. It's very cool. And I appreciate too, because he also, I think he gets judged a lot for the way he sounds too, for, you know, sounding. Southern people often, I think, get unfortunately construed as like being stupid or whatever, because they kind of talk slow or sound funny, and it's like he's a very intelligent person with a lot of really thoughtful things to say.
Yeah.
And I appreciate that he
people
has
from the
very
deep
much,
South get it the worst too.
Right? And especially Chuck, I feel like he's, well, and especially being black too, on top of that, like I think he just does everything where it's like, oh, he's just kind of a big dumb basketball player, right? And so I really appreciate that he, in one breath, can be silly, but in the next can be very serious, and you take what he says seriously. You listen when Chuck speaks. And he can be both people, and yeah, to your point, it's been fun to see him develop that side of his personality on TV. And I think a lot of people, the more you're on TV, the longer you're public like that, you just evolve and figure out how to show that side of yourself more. But it is really cool because he's been very honest about who he is. He's always been very, like, thoughtful. And I mean that in a, like, he's very, I don't know, he thinks about a lot of, he's very introspective, very, open with his thoughts, which is very cool. And I think Shaq is also like a good person, but it's interesting how they're still very different. They're both silly, but in different ways, and like how they, like, Shaq doesn't talk a lot about like a lot of serious stuff, like. And it's not because I don't think he doesn't care.
Very high level can take a joke guy. Shaq had to come around on that, I think.
I think so, and I think that's for sure. And it's just cool. I love Chuck. I think I've always loved Chuck. I actually love his podcast that he does with Ernie, the Steam Room. It's pretty fun. Chuck is just like a really interesting dude, and there's a million cool stories about just random people whose lives he just changed by being in them. Sure. And you're like, hell yeah, Chuck. So shout out to Charles Barkley, and shout out to Sicily for producing this wine, which honestly did get better as it was open. It
opened up a little bit over the couple hours. It's not like a top 10 one that we've had, but it's definitely not bad.
No. On that note, where would you rank it, I guess? Because we should also...
Probably like in the... How many have you had total so far?
Well, I'm about to pull up the list. 1 second.
I feel like it's probably close to like 30, 40.
It's definitely... Okay, we are at 34 wines.
That's in the ballpark.
I'm going to share my screen really quick so you can see it. Okay, so for me, this feels like somewhere in the 14 to 25.
I would have gone
like
probably below, probably around like Folonati,
yeah,
like in that range.
I was thinking like similar. I was thinking this Pinot Noir-ish area.
Yeah. Yeah, Flat Rock was just okay. We can put it around there.
Well, yeah, we'll put it underneath. Actually, we'll put it above it. I feel like this was slightly better than that.
I'm disappointed in the Grinder and Goes to Rome being so low. South Africa, step it up. Step it up.
Well, yeah.
Send us your best. Climb up this list.
The thing with, sorry, I kept wanting to spell very wrong. I feel like the South African wine's a bit like the Sicilian wine, where it's just very produced. I think they can produce good wines. It's just still a little bit unrefined in their processes. There's a lot of variance. Climate in South Africa also makes it honestly very difficult to make good wine, just because you're dealing with a lot of extremes in climate and growing conditions in general. But yeah, I was also very disappointed so far in the South African wines we've tried. Hopefully we can. I hear South African Chenin Blanc is lit, so maybe that's our next play.
Maybe
rather
it is.
Than reds. All right, well, 35 wines. Look at this. Look at us go. Crushing it. We'll be back in a week or two. This will be up. I'm hoping I think we record before the national championship game, but if not, we will definitely be recording post actual expansion draft, so we'll break all that down. Hopefully we'll have a bit more information either about the rookie. We'll be close to the rookie draft as well, so we'll be kind of hopefully going over some mock drafts about that, talking about rookie picks. But yeah, the WNBA season is upon us. We're excited we get to actually report, or we'll talk about an entire season. We're definitely not reporting on it, but talk about a whole season and hopefully go to some games. So hopefully I can see you in Toronto. But yeah, follow us at Wine and Dime on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, YouTube. Play this on the background in Spotify. 5 stars, ratings everywhere.
Play it in the foreground. Maximum volume.
Tell your friends.
Surround sound.
Tell your wives, your husbands, whoever, really. Tell everybody. And once again, if Kevin Love is listening, check your email. We'll talk to you later.
Later.